I'm just gonna jump right in. This came across my mind. Now hear me out. Hear me out. Sony is the most greediest, grimiest, low down, shady, scheming company that can lock down, that can basically steal a game from another platform, company. They can steal an IP. They can do lockdown exclusive deals. They can do blocking rights. And nobody says anything. Nobody has any problem with it. Now, if anyone can do this, I believe Sony can do it. Okay, so I'm thinking, right, that they're saying basically Call of Duty is going to be going in about 3 to maybe 5 years, right? Somewhere in between that. So that's the word in these gaming streets, right? So basically what Sony can do is basically compete with Call of Duty with Battlefield. Now hear me out. I know a lot of people gonna be like, what? I know, but in the time frame that they have, right? The time frame that they have, they don't really have much of an option, because at least PlayStation will still have a shooter, right? Because Battlefield is already somewhat trying to compete with Call of Duty. I don't really want to say they're a competitor, because we already know. I'm not saying that Battlefield is going to magically start outselling Call of Duty in 3 to 5 years. I'm not saying that. But what I am doing is trying to give Sony an option, okay? Because if anybody is good at doing like real suspect, borderline, grimy, scheming, low down, dirty, shady deals, it's Sony. With the exclusive, they can just steal games away from another platform, like Spider-Man. And I see a lot of people talking crazy, like, they already had the rights to Spider-Man movies. You heard what you just said, right? They had the rights to the movies. Activision made the first Spider-Mans. Then Insomniac took over. So it was never Insomniac just pretty much came out making Spider-Man games. No, they didn't. And I don't know who else was before Insomniac. But no. Yes, Spider-Man was on Xbox and it was on PlayStation. Some people only tuned in when Insomniac started making Spider-Man, and now they just, because they stole the IP. Okay. But being that they are good, right? Being that they are good at doing that, we all know they love locking down games, right? They have a long track record. We already know what they can do, right? They can make it a competitor, keep it, but compete at a very high rate. Because you mean to tell me that Sony has all of these great studios and gaming creators and designers and artists and everybody that comes into play, all of these hundreds and thousands of gaming creators on Sony, and they can't get a team with EA? So we all been pretty much waiting to see what PS5 can really do, because I know a lot of people are like, man, are we ever going to see the full potential of PS5 without being held back with hardware or software or whatever? All of these issues, so that they can pretty much compete with Call of Duty, because that's what it all boils down to, guys. This is what it's all boiling down to. Now, I just want to give Sony an option, because obviously Lion Jim Ryan up there at Sony front office doesn't know how to run a company anymore. He's already waving the white flag. He's already surrendering. He don't SOS. We need help. I don't know what to do. That's pretty much what this guy's out here in these gaming streets. This Decepticon don't even want to compete with Microsoft Xbox Game Pass, with PlayStation Plus Premium. And by the way, I heard they're about to go up. I don't know if they already did or not, but that is like insane. Why would you go up? Why would you jack the price up, bro? Like, you already know, haven't you already agreed that we're having an inflation? It's already hard out here for a pimp. Do you get what I'm talking about? Do you get where I'm going with this? But back to Battlefield. sometimes I get, caught up in the moment. But back to Battlefield. The thing about it is, guys, this game is already ready to go. They only have 3 to 5 years, right, to compete. He's already saying, Jim Ryan is already saying up there at Sony, bro, I don't know what to do. And this is not enough time for us to make a game. But what they can do is get Sony together. Sony, pick out the best studios you have. Go work with EA. Bring out the Battlefields, war zones and the battle royale modes, because that's what we're going to need, right? We're going to need the battle royale modes. We're going to have to change the mechanics, boost them, upgrade them. We're going to have to get all of the bugs worked out. That's why I say you need the best studios. Who studios are better than working bugs out and pretty much making the game, polishing the game to the quality that we like? It's Sony Studios. Guerrilla, Santa Monica, you already know. Naughty Dog, they just remastered. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Sony the remaster king? The remake king? The AAA, the home of the AAA bangers? So you mean to tell me you can't revamp, you can't rewrap and reseal Battlefield and make it 10 times better? Bro, this is your only option this fast. This is just too fast. It's not enough time to make a complete rebuilt ground up game to compete with Call of Duty this fast. They already don't want to do it, bro. But it is a multi-plat game. So I don't know if that's the problem here. If it is the problem, Call of Duty is a multi-plat game as well. But Battlefield and Call of Duty are well known. They are two well-known first-person shooter games, right? So why wouldn't you go with Battlefield, right? Rewrap it, revamp it, change the mechanics around a little bit, make it almost 100% feeling like Call of Duty. Like the map's a lot smaller, because I know that's what a lot of issues are. The maps are too big for most people. Just change Battlefield around. Make you got to have all the skins and all of the microtransactions, and make it feel so much like Call of Duty. You don't want your fan base to feel like they're missing out on anything. And we already know Sony ponies and Sony fanboys are going to rock with Sony to the end. So Sony already can't do nothing wrong, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of us already know that. These fanboys, Sony can't do anything wrong. They defend everything they do anyways. So why not just rebrand Battlefield? Even if they bring out a Battlefield, right, and make a Warzone type DLC expansion add-on exclusive to PlayStation. You know why I say exclusive, right? They are the kings of stealing content. Sony is the kings of locking down, gatekeeping, stealing content from other platforms. So it only makes sense, right, for them to make an exclusive Warzone or a, Battle Royale or whatever they want to call it, whatever the name they want to give it, whatever. But make it like a Fortnite type, add-on and DLC, but exclusive for PlayStation. I'm just trying to give them a way out, because I don't feel like it'd be fair if they don't try. Yes, Call of Duty is out of there. It's pretty much they're breaking up, they're cutting ties, they're divorcing with PlayStation pretty much in the next 3 to 5 years. That's the end. That's the end of it. Once this Call of Duty Activision deal goes through, Xbox can pretty much sign off. If they don't want to renew that contract for 5 to 10 more years, if they don't want to renew it, yes, Call of Duty pretty much will be exclusive to cloud gaming, to wherever you can get Call of Duty on pretty much Game Pass on Xbox, Microsoft Game Pass, PC, the console, phones, tablets, TVs, things of that nature. That will be the only place you will not be able to play it is on PlayStation. But the backup plan is Battlefield. That will be the go-to. The main game will be Battlefield. That's the only direction they can go at this amount of time that a game is already built and ready to go is Battlefield. There is no other bigger shooter than Battlefield and Call of Duty that I can think of, and they're not. And Bungie isn't really even making the Halo right now. That's still going to take 4 to 5 years, and they're going to work on live service games. Like, okay, I'll give them that. Now, when they say we're going to work on live service subscription, I'm guessing PlayStation Plus premium type games. I'm guessing Sony, that's the direction that they want to go in. You know, that's just word in these gaming streets. Okay, they want to go in that direction, but I don't know if everybody's going to be rocking with those games. See, those games may not be for everybody, but a first-person shooter like Battlefield and Call of Duty, we've pretty much already tried both of them. Most of us as gamers, I'm talking about as the gaming community. You know, as a casual gamer, whether you're a fanboy, whether you're a fan of Xbox or a fan of PlayStation, we already tried kind of both of them, Battlefield or Call of Duty, and we already kind of heard about them already as well. We already know if they're buggy. We already know if the fan base is falling off on both of them. If the fans are going to speak their opinion and voices, let their voice be heard. So they are going to let you know if this could be an option for PlayStation. But that's the only thing I can come up with is Battlefield. And nobody is pointing Sony in the direction of Battlefield whenever Call of Duty exits the building. Whenever Call of Duty leaves PlayStation platform for good, okay, it's going to get real. There's going to be a lot of hearts broken. A lot of people are going to be switching over, jumping ship to Xbox and Game Pass. We already know that. But if you want to keep them happy with, if a first-person shooter is the main focus, the main target, the main crowd, because some people, they only play first-person shooter games, really. They really don't play. It was a time and period when I was on 360 days, I was only on Call of Duty, bro. 2K and probably Call of Duty. Those was the only two games I was playing for years, bro. So you do have first-person shooter gamers. That's all they play all day long, bro. They know from top to bottom, from left to right. They know every last detail on Call of Duty. They know everything, every DLC, every skin. They have ranked up their guns. How many times have their prestige on those games? Some people, they never are going to leave Call of Duty side. They are die-hard fans. But if you make a game like Battlefield as just as good as Call of Duty, the game is already ready to go. All you have to do is just do all your add-ons, your DLCs, all the packs, all the expansion packs on there. Make it bigger, promote it, push it. You know, sponsor Battlefield on PlayStation. Start now, Sony. Lion Jim Ryan, you idiot. That's all you have to do. Because once Call of Duty leave, bro, I don't know what Sony fan base is going to do. We can't sit here and watch this for another 3 to 5 years at Sony. We cannot sit and watch Jim Ryan lock himself in the room and cry like a little baby on his desk. Crying a river. I'm talking about crying a river, bro. Like literally reaching out to every big corporation, every board, complaining about how can they stop the Call of Duty Activision deal instead of compete with the Call of Duty Activision deal. Because we already know that's pretty much the main reason why he's crying. He ain't crying about no Candy Crush. He ain't crying about nothing else. He ain't crying about no Crash Bandicoot, no Spyro the Dragon. He ain't crying about none of those other games. Although when they bring those games back, they are going to look pretty awesome on the next gen, you know, engines and tech. But he's not crying about those. He wants Call of Duty to stay on PlayStation platform forever. That's what all of this is over. And if you think it's about anything else, this guy doesn't want to pay that percentage. Do you know how greedy Sony is? Do you know they would have to pay taxes to Xbox, to Microsoft Xbox now that they don't want to pay? Do you know that once this Activision deal goes through, Sony has to pay Microsoft money? And they already don't like spending money. They already don't want to create more games. They want to expand games to a long-term contract like GTA, like games like that. like Minecraft, Call of Duty. These are some of the biggest AAA banger games that's bringing revenues in for Sony, but one of them will be leaving, and now they will be paying Xbox. Can you believe that? Jim Ryan has to pretty much write a check to Xbox that he don't want to cash. If he can make it bounce, he would do it. I guarantee that. But back to the main point. This is the only way out, PlayStation. Sony fans, fanboys, fans of the world. If Jim Ryan doesn't do something quick, you guys are really going to be waiting a very long time for a first-person shooter game to really, fill that void that you guys are going to be missing without Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is a very big deal. I remember back in the days when, this is a true story, I remember back in the days when it had to be Xbox 360, I think it was like Call of Duty 2, if I'm not mistaken, right? So that was an awesome game, by the way. If I can find a way to play that game now, I will. Oh, if it comes to Game Pass, I may will. But this game, to me, has so much potential in those generations. It was so fun. It was so fast. It was just so different. And I remember telling my friends about it. I was like, hey, man, y'all try that Call of Duty 2 game? And they was like, man, don't nobody care about no Call of Duty. That garbage. Bro, true story, bro. Now, fast forward to now, to this generation. With the Modern Warfares and the Modern Warfare 2 about to drop, they will not put the controller down on Call of Duty. Now, that tells you how far along Call of Duty have came. These guys roasted me, bro. Like, no joke. I will not lie to you guys. I would not lie with everything I love. These guys said nobody wants to play that garbage. And that was like the first big Call of Duty game to me that I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm just asking you to try something different. And that's what I'm saying. You can learn to love something over time. And that's why I like to give you guys value and bring you guys value to your gaming, life, because that's why I love to drop those links down in the description, because a lot of people, they will not get, I don't want to say you will not get a PS5, but it's going to be a long waiting list for a lot of people to get a PS5, even the Xbox Series X or S, mainly an X. But now they are starting to keep up with demand. But if you do have a PC, I will drop links in the description so you guys can either jump into the PlayStation ecosystem or the Xbox Game Pass ecosystem. So try those links down in the description at the end of the video if you have a PC only. But this probably would be the only way, bro, that I can see Sony can go, and that's targeting Battlefield. If they don't target Battlefield and make those DLCs and expansions better and upgrade the graphics, the quality, the mechanics, how the game plays, what we love, you and I both knows as gamers, as fans, we know how we want to feel when we playing Call of Duty, right? You already 1000% know. The game has been out way too long not to be able to have Battlefield like exactly like that on PlayStation. Whether it's like that same, whether they add everything on the multi-plat on Xbox, PC, and if it's on Nintendo or whatever, we don't know. But Sony has to do something like right now. Like it's not waiting. There's no more waiting, bro. Like this is real. This is really happening. Like Xbox is really about to take Call of Duty off of PlayStation, and a lot of fans are going to be sick if Sony and Jim Ryan doesn't do anything. They really just need to get him out of there and bring back some passionate gamers, like some really passionate gamers and developers, and to run PlayStation like with all of their heart and soul, like Phil Spencer's doing with Xbox, because you've seen how that guy just turned Xbox around, Game Pass. And if you give Game Pass a try, come next year, if you already jumped into the ecosystem, come next year, I think you would probably really love it, because it has so much potential right now, and it's already growing. It already have like around 30 million subscribers. So imagine when Call of Duty hits Game Pass. And I'm gonna leave it right there, guys. So make sure you smash that like, that subscribe button, click that notification bell, guys, so you guys can be notified on all of the new latest and greatest news off in these gaming streets. Thank you and peace.